Now I'm going to talk about setting goals. You probably have some personal goals for yourself, like getting fit. Well, you can also set goals for your app. For example, you might set a goal for users to click the donate button, or reach a certain level in the game, or stay engaged with the app for a certain amount of time, hopefully not that long. To set goals for the app, you go to the admin interface, and then in the view, you click Goals, and then Create New Goal. When you're setting up a goal, you'll see a list of templates. If you choose a template, it fills in the name and the type for you, like this. But even if you choose a template, you can change the name and type anyway. So I'm going to start out by creating a custom goal. And you enter whatever name you want, and then you choose the type of goal. So you can specify a screen that you want the users to reach, or duration, how long you want them to stay engaged with your app. You can specify how many screens you want them to visit in a session. And you can also specify an event like viewed product or show recipe. So I'm going for 5 screens per session min. So after you set the name and the type, you can add more detail for the goals. The details you can set depend on the type of the goal. If the type is number of screens per session, well, you choose how many you want. I want at least 5. That would be greater than 4. If the type is duration, then you can specify criteria for the duration. How many hours, minutes, seconds do you want the users to stay engaged as a minimum? If the goal type is destination, then you specify the screen name. And as you see, there's some flexibility around how you specify the screen name. You can give a regular expression if you want. And notice the funnel option. If you enable this, you can specify the progression through your app that you want users to take to reach the destination. My advice is to start out with the simpler options, and as you build your understanding of analytics, to add in more complex tracking. So for now, I'm not going to set a funnel. And if the goal type is event, then you specify the category, the action, the label, and the value of the event. And actually you can specify any or all of these, starting with the category. You could just set the category and leave the other values blank if you wanted. So I'm going to set up a goal called 5 screens for my users to visit 5 screens per session. So I've chosen the type, pages/screens per session, and I want them to go to at least 5, so that would be greater than 4. Then I create the goal. So now my goal is listed in the list of goals. Now you might be wondering, do you need to write code for the goals? Well, it depends. Is auto activity tracking enabled for your app? If it is, then you don't need to write any code for screen-related goals. Analytics will get hits for all screen views. But if the goal depends on other kinds of hits, such as event hits, then your app must include the code to send those hits. If auto activity tracking is not enabled, then your app must have the code to send the hits that analytics needs to figure out if the goals are met or not, and that includes screen view hits. Because if auto activity tracking is not enabled, analytics won't get screen view hits other than the ones that get explicitly sent by the app. So I've created one goal for my app so far, but each app has a limit to how many goals it can have. After you create a goal, you can't delete it. There's no point hunting around for the delete button because it isn't there. However, you can edit an existing goal and change it completely. So I'm going to change my goal. My new goal is for users to read the recipe for dinner suggestion. There are 2 ways to express this goal. Either I can set a goal for users to click the Show Recipe button, or I can set a goal for users to go to the Show Recipe activity or screen. So I'm going to set a goal for my users to go to Show Recipe as a destination. Now my app sends a screen view hit through the code in the onStart method of the Show Recipe activity. So I need to make sure that the screen name in the goal is the same as the one that gets set in the code. And see here how it says verify this goal. You can click on this to see what the conversion rate would have been for the data for the past 7 days. So this is only going to be helpful if you actually have a bunch of data from the past 7 days. and it has to be exactly the past 7 days, but not including today. So now I'm going to save my goal, and there it is. Now my app already sends a screen view hit for the show recipe activity, so I don't need to make any changes in my code. So I already have the app running on the phone, and I didn't even need to redeploy it. I'm just going to go ahead and show the recipe a few times. And then I'm going to need to wait a while for the goals to show up in the Analytics dashboard. And the real-time view in Analytics doesn't show goal conversion, so you may need to wait a while for the goals to show up.